Hello and welcome. This time I am looking at Mastermind Creations PS-23 Ignis, their version of a Autobot Hotspot, leader of the Protectobots, and third member of Defensor. So we have our awesome artwork, our little lineup, got Ignis on that side, close up on that side, and then your product shots with the bio and the tech specs. And that's it for the box, and here he is. He is packaged in vehicle mode for me. I guess it comes packaged two ways for whatever reason. But get a look in closely with my limited lighting. Very nice blue paint job, well painted details. These mirrors are like a soft plastic, almost a rubber. Rubber tires. Get a look in at all that. The outriggers do function. Got two on each side. There is the back, the front, same detail on the other side. There's the top and the bottom. And it looks like my camera's picking it up. It's not just all one shade of blue. He does have different shades of blue here and there, plus good detail. So it doesn't look as bland as it might at first glance. You can see some diamond plate detailing there, a little transparent for the lights. You can see that the ladder does a full 360, go up and down. It does telescope. And there he is. Let's look at the accessories. I've got the bonus head. And then, of course, you get two blasters, two arms for the repair bay mode. Then, of course, you get your card, as always. Get the little red piece for those tech specs. You get a sheet saying how to replace the face on the special head, which is really the same for both heads, but they do have different attachment points. You can see that one and that one, and I'll show you better when I get to the combine mode, but there they are. They are both just a roaring face. The biggest difference is the standard head. You can see that mouth. It is a deeper mouth. Nose is about the same, chin's about the same. And then these little pieces, the incentive head comes up a little bit bigger. But we'll look at that more in detail in the combine mode. Here is the incentive head, as long as I have it out. Black plastic, looks like painted face with the painted eyes. It looks very good. Opens up for transformation. And just get my, there we go. Look at that. Pops right off. Looking at it now, it's got those two dots in it. I don't see any pegs, so I guess it just rests in place on friction. But there you go. Again, we'll look at the differences in combine mode. Now, you got his two guns. They both have the large and the small handle for combined and regular mode. They are just a black plastic, nothing too crazy or special. Decent detail, but they're in fitting with the Toon models, which are very, plain to begin with. And then you have these two arms for the repair bay mode. And there are some fan ways you can use them in the other modes as well. I did find that you have this post and port. You have this slot and this tab at the end of the gun. And that slot, let's see if I can pick it up. There you go. You can see it. It's got a little bit of a curve to it, so it matches up to the gun. I'm still trying to see if there's other ways to use it, but I have found that. And he has a port right here that you can attach the guns to if you so choose. So you can have the guns by themselves or the guns with these arms, and there you go. So now he can put out fires and shoot at people at the same time. Awesome. And then, I mean, just, they also do fit in there if you don't mind them being loose. Things you can do, right? It's storage. I like storage. Not a necessity, but it's nice to have. All right, and let's do a couple of vehicle comparisons. I won't do too many this time around. We got First Aid and Streetwise. So there's the team shaping up at the moment. And the only other comparison that I will do is Onslaught. Because as it is, MMC is a little weird with their their vehicle modes. Sometimes it's right on size, sometimes not. So there you go, neck and neck. You can see Onslaught is significantly longer. Being he is a semi, it makes sense. Height-wise, they're pretty close to the same height. Yeah, Onslaught has him beat just really because of this bit. But he comes up to about the top of his turret. I took the gun off because it was aiming the turret up a bit. And then width-wise, they're pretty close. So, there you go. All right, now let's get him transformed. We'll go into his medbay mode first, and then we'll go into his robot mode. His medbay mode is halfway from his truck to his robot mode anyway. So I'm going to compress this just to get it out of my way. Don't really need to compress it for medbay. Sorry. Let's see. And it is very simple. We're going to split it at the top. We are going to fold these open. There we go. Make sure it gets back there. These, you need to rotate them so that they rotate just like that. But you do want them back like this when you go to truck mode. They only go in to this slot, which as you can see is shaped. So, truck mode, you have to be specific. Combine mode, there's another specific way I'll show you. And then when it comes to robot mode, I haven't really noticed anything. I don't think it matters. All right, split his legs here. There we go. So we are just going to bring his legs out. So you want to rotate at the thigh, rotate at the knees. You want them looking like that. Let me get this out of the way a little bit. There you go. You want the joint looking like that. And again, this part will be mostly the same for robot mode too. And you just bring the legs out at that joint. Okay, so he's basically sitting like that. Bring the chest down. Split that apart. Yeah, like that. Push on those to pop the chest pieces out if you wish. The steps for the medbay mode actually don't mention it, but then the picture shows that they're popped out. So honestly, it's yours. Do whatever you want with it. And then this is all just going to come up. You got 2 slots and 2 tabs right there. You can peg that in. Slide this down. Well, here. There we go. You slide it down, but you slide it up, kind of thing. There we go. And then that is his medbay mode. And you can take the blasters, you can take those arms. The arms will peg in. You've got a round slot right here. One on each side, of course. There you go, and you can angle those however you wish. These rotate as well. That one's a little tight for me. And then the instructions show to just rest the guns back here. They don't tab into anything that I have found, but if you pull out the handle for combine mode, it at least helps stability a little bit. It's still not particularly amazing, but there it is. You know, it's a mode, it's a thing. Kind of seems like an afterthought. But again, it's halfway to robot mode, so there you go. Alright, get these out of the way for now. Okay, so to continue to robot mode, let's do the legs first. Right, so you do that, you rotate those back. So you want this being the front of the thigh and the rounded part being the back of the thigh. So what we're going to do, going to bring this down. You're going to pop this tab right there. And then that'll allow you to swing this down. You'll relock it. And you can bend that the rest of the way. There we go. That's how the thigh should look once complete. Do the exact same thing on this side. Bring it down. Pop the tab. Lock it. There we go. Now we're going to flip up. Flip that out. Now this is pretty cool. So you flip this out, straighten it out, and you need to get this little piece on the foot. And they have a little bit of an auto transforming thing there. There it is. I think that's pretty cool. Fold that in, put that in, and there's one foot. Again, up, fold in, fold out. Get that nice and level. And there you go. And you can have these flush with the leg, or you can pop them in if you want. It's all up to you. Chances are you're going to pop them in as you're posing it anyway, because I've been doing that a lot. All right, now let's keep going up top. We're going to compress this. We're going to lift it up a little. Compress that in all the way. Rotate it around. There we go. It helps if you unfold that first. There we go. All right, let me leave that hanging down for now. I'm going to get these kind of, yeah, they're pretty out of the way. Get that out of the way. Now you've already got the chest good, so we're going to take the center section that just rotates up. Bring the chest piece down. Now, you want to rotate the combiner head around, open it, bring the bot mode down, close it, rotate it back around, close the combined chest piece back up so that that's how it looks, and then rotate. And now, this is where, if you haven't already, you do want these pieces pushed out, and then you just bring it up, and it tabs in. You've got these little slots that are just going to go onto these big pieces, and they more or less rest in place. There's a little bit of friction there. Now for this next part, I'm going to fold the ladder up hold on. Adjust this. I'm going to fold the ladder up. Going to get these ports onto these tabs. And then these are going to go right in here on both sides. Let's get this folded up. It is on a slider too. You do want this slid up. So get it folded up all the way. You also have this slot going to mate up with that tab, and then these two pegs are just going to kind of go into those slits. Again, those two, it's more or less friction. It's the middle piece that's really going to lock it. And then you'll get these. They are on double joints down here, so just manipulate it as you need to get it to line up. Why are you acting like you are not lined up? Ah, I had the bottom of this kind of pushed in a little too far. So, there we go. And then this piece, you know, you just bring it up and just like that, just so it's out of the way of, you know, the waist rotation and everything. All right. And see what I mean? Just all that movement, I've already pushed those plates in. So that's why I say pose that however you want, because you're probably going to move it anyway. But that's his back, all done. Very clean. Now, arms. You're going to split the cab open. Bring this bumper piece in. And so you're going to bring the front of the truck, the door out. This little piece that my finger is currently covering is going to stay still. But the small panel with the fireball on it, the window, this front piece is all going to swing out. So I like to hold down on the piece that I know is going to stay still. I'll pull out and push up with that piece. And you can see it's just a tight fit. That's why I just like to be careful where I put my hand. Then I'm going to swing that out. Let me rotate this around so we can, there we go. This is how it's going to be oriented. So that part is going to swing out. I'm going to bring the elbow in. Swing that around and around again. Bring this on a slider down. So it's looking like that. Bring out the hand. Rotate. And then for back here, I did it a little quickly, but you pull that up, the whole thing comes up, and then this all closes up. Now you can tab it in, and that's how it's supposed to be. But you see how close the bicep is? If you're rotating it with your arm straight down, it's fine. But once you bring it up on that first elbow bend and you rotate it, you're going to collide, or you're just going to untab it. So kind of depends on what you're doing with it. Now, he has that slider. Nowhere in the instructions or anything does it tell you to use that slider for robot mode, and all the artwork, all the product shots that we've seen online show this over. But that is something you can do with it if you want. Now you've got free range of motion, and because of how bulky his shoulder is, it's not really going to affect you posing him too much anyway. Because if you bring it all the way down, there's a slot right there, and there's a tab right there. So if you bring it all the way down, you're going to tab it in anyway, which you don't want to do. You don't want to do unless you're going for an old G1 pose and just having them standing like that. So, you know what? For the purpose of doing what the instructions tell you, I'll leave it like that. But just so you know, that's on a slider. You can move it if you're sick of this constantly unpopping. You've got options. Now, we'll do the same on the side. Again, I'm going to pull out, pull up, fold up, fold up. Bring that out and around. Bring that around. Tab in. Slider. Bring that up. And when you bring it up like this, it kind of just sits in place. It's this big panel that actually locks it. Arm down, up, rotate. And the last thing to do is his ears. Just be careful with them. I feel like it would be very easy to snap them off if you are rough with them. But there we go. Go ahead and give him one of his guns real quick. Nah, I'll do that in a second. There we go. We have Masterpiece Hotspot. And my oh my, he looks awesome. I like the way he looked in all the product shots on the websites and everything. I knew already I liked him. But in person, I love him so much more. Got him a couple days ago before recording this, and I have been playing with him at least once a day since then, including a couple of work days, so I didn't have a lot of time. I made time for him. So let's get in closely and look at the details as best as my camera will pick it up. So there's his face, just a mixture of light and darker blue with nice red eyes. He does not have any light up features. So, very nice detail. He has a ball joint, so we'll go 360 around. He goes that much up, that much down, a little bit of wiggle. Very easy to pop his ears back in. They kind of throop into place, but it's not super strong. Shoulders, you have, there we go, that tab hit the tire. 360 on friction. You have a double jointed elbow, or shoulder, sorry. So you will get as high up as you want. All depends on which joint or if you want to use both of them. Then you do have that bicep swivel, which will go mostly 360. You just got that collision. You do have a double jointed elbow. Gets you all the way up to there. Full wrist rotation. Individually articulated fingers on 3 pegs apiece. And the thumb is just a ball joint. You have very nice ab crunch. Look at that. You also have a 360 waist rotation, and because we have that out of the way, it doesn't interfere if you had it down. Oh, okay, look at that. Hey, look at that. I proved myself wrong on camera. So it doesn't matter. It's still cleaner with it up, I think, though. So when it comes to the waist, these are hip skirts, but they're also tabbed in. So with them out of the way, you'll go all the way up, all the way back until he hits that. If you want to cheat, you can pop this piece in, give you an extra click, and he'll go fully back. And I just say cheating because it doesn't mention using this for this mode. This is for combined mode. But hey, you do what you want. You have a single jointed knee, gets you 90 degrees. And let's experiment here. Yeah, even with this panel up, which would break the sculpt, you still only get the 90. So, and oh yeah, you also have this rotation, which will get you 360 degrees. It'll break the sculpt a little bit though, just because of how it's set up. And then toes, you do have ankle tilt out to there. You have toe down, and you have toe up, and that is all you got. He is very stable. The only issue I have with him, which is an issue I have with a lot of bots that have ratcheted hip joints, is that this is straight and then one click out. There you go, that's one click out. So as you can see, it's just a very wide A stance for one click out. That's the only issue I have with his hip joints. But it all depends on how you pose them. I mean, even right there, he doesn't look bad. And let's see, of course, he has no problem holding his weapons. He holds them very securely with the MMC, tab at the back of the handle type of thing. Slides in. I'll get his thumb up there. Close his fingers, and look at that. And then you can use these if you so choose. One thing I found, kind of like a Doc Ock kind of thing, is I'll plug them in, and there you go. Here. There you go. And you can do that on both sides if you really want to. Or, of course, just leave them off. Like I said, that is an unofficial thing anyway. I've not found many other uses for this. This slot is too small for that transformation tab. And I don't see any other places to peg it in on the back or to use that slot on the back. This has 4 tabs that can fold out for transformation for combined mode. Those tabs and this slot are not compatible. They don't work. And then that's really it. I can't see any other places to attach those. So that's all I got on the little add-on pieces. And of course he does have 2 guns. You can hold them both at the same time. He does not have removable faces for this mode either. So what you see is what you got, for better or worse. And let me get his other gun out of the way. So, comparisons. Let's do my TE01 Optimus Prime first. I like using him as the gold standard for the scale, and they should be the same head-to-head. So we can see he is a little tall, which is going to explain why he is so much taller than the other 2 members of his family, who should be at least up to his shoulder. So, I mean, they're a little on the small side, he's a little on the big side, and it just makes him look massive. But they still look great together. I cannot wait to get the other 2 members of the family. I've already got Grooves pre-ordered. And as soon as Blades comes up for pre-order, I'll be getting him too. And then for the final comparison here is Onslaught, and you can see they are neck and neck, which they are supposed to be. So MMC may be out of scale with the Sunbow chart, especially with, other companies, but they kind of do their own thing. I mean, these 2 guys are the same height at least. It's just their other bots. They're limb bots. All right. And now, the part that you might be really here for, we're going to get into combined mode. And I'm going to show the transformation completely. He will not be able to stand on his own, so it's going to be a little weird. But without further ado, let's get right to it. So first thing, I'm going to take his gun away. Sorry, buddy, you don't need it for now. I'll give it back to you with first aid, just because we can. Let's get his fist balled up. Bring that down, rotate the fist back in. There it is. All right, so we will do the upper half first. So there you go. Open these up, bring this out, bring the combiner joint out. Hopefully MMC learned their lesson, and those will be strong enough for the final limb bots. Time will tell. Let's see. Bring that around. Bring that in. Nope. There we go. My bad. I am not a professional. So, before I go any further, I do need to disconnect the ladder in the back here, just to be able to get it out of my way. It will make life a little bit easier very shortly. There we go. Okay, so fists are folded up. Wrist is turned sideways and slid in. So what I'm going to do, this is going to rotate. It's going to come around. And it's going to tab in right there. And just let this sit out here for now. We'll need it later. Now, this is going to have to sit. You want this edge to be as close to straight as you can get. And you're going to bring this down. And we're going to come back to that later, but I'm just setting it up for now. So then we're going to do that, push that in. We're going to do the same over here as we did on the other side. Whether you agree with it or not, I have a method of doing this, as you can see. And it may not exactly be the way that you or other reviewers would do it. So, but I'm setting things up now. There we go. I'll bring that in and tab it in. There we go. Here, I'll use that slider just a little bit to make sure this tabs in properly. There we go. Okay. And let's see. Wouldn't work on the chest next. Just going to rotate this all up. This is going to flip around. I'm going to leave it, these slider pieces out. I don't think it really matters what you do. And now, pull it up. It is just on these sliders. Very easy to pull up. Don't think you need to go whole hog on it, because you might break something if you really, really try. Before I go further on that, let's lock it in. So you have these pieces. They go into these slots, and you want to hook it. You don't just push it on. You want to tab it in from the back. And then you're going to use these and flip them up to lock them. That's also going to lock that slider in the upper position. So there you go. Nice and tight. Good. Now, you can see slots and tabs. You just bring it down. Now, I like to put a finger or two back here to help make sure that it tabs in firmly, because this wants to move on you as you push on it, just because of where it's at. And then you can see you've got some cutouts for the tires, and you just fold it over, and it just rests in place. Look at that guy go. Love it. Okay. These pieces can just stay where they're at. And for this, so there we go. Let me show you. So oops, get that folded over. Yep. You've got those two tabs are what's going to actually lock it in up here now. Before they were just kind of there for bot mode. Now they're really going to lock it in. You bring them up. And before you bring them all the way up, fold these out. On my copy at least, the top two are going to do a lot of the work, but these are really what's going to lock these in. But it still says to fold out all four of them, but I haven't really gotten those to tab in yet. So you do that. Whoops. This is getting in the way. Don't need that tab. Not for now. So before I go any further, because you have the option if you want him to have his collar popped up like he's fresh out of the 80s. So if you want his collar, all you're going to do, you're going to take this part, you're going to rotate it up, you're going to bring that back down, you're going to bring these four tabs up, the ones that I just did, and you're going to bring down these two front smaller ones that are T-shaped. And they're going to go into these slots. Now you've got a little bit of flex, but you want to do them one at a time. Put it in the middle. You slide it out. There you go. And then same on this side. Insert in the middle, slide it out. And then there is his collar. You can still rotate his head full 360. It doesn't interfere. It's really just if you want that toy look. And then to remove it, just pick a side, push in, slide it up, do the same for the other side, and then you fold those back up. Okay? I'm going to continue without the collar, but if you do want the collar, there you go. Now, if you did the collar, you will not have these 4 tabs to help with these panels, but it's okay because the lights are going to do 95% of the work at least. So he will still have a very secure back connection if you chose to give him the collar. So rest assured, you do not compromise any kind of integrity, structural integrity. So you'll bring this out. This double joint for me is a little difficult to move, but either way, you want it looking like that. And then you'll move it in on this joint. So you've got this hole for the light, and then these 2 square slots for those 2. Like I said, I can only get the top one to go. This keeps moving and wants to push in on me. Let me see if I put my fingers under here and try to support it. That may help. And as you're doing it, you can just look down through the top, through the sides, whatever works for you to be able to see what you're doing. Those square tabs are very flimsy. I'm not concerned about breaking them, but they do want to keep flipping over. They're, very easy to flip over. So just be aware of that. And that one wanted to go sideways on me. There we go. Hey, I kind of got it. The lower ones are kind of in. I just had to use my finger to support it from the back. This I'll just leave up, and this I'll leave on the back. For now I'll keep it up here, but later on I'll flip it down just to cover up the gaping hole into his chest. But importantly, that is it for his upper body. I showed you how to do the collar, so there's all that. Let's do his lower body, and then we'll do some combinations and show you articulation. So flip these out, swing them around, bring that down, and you want to rotate it 360. This may kind of get in your way, so just manipulate it as you need to. But in the end, you want them up here like this for now. And you want this, there you go. You see how that looks with the screw on the bottom side? So then I'll flip that down. I'm going to come around here, bring it up, flip out these 2 lower crotch pieces and these 2 upper ones. You may keep flipping them back in, but that's fine. But the lower ones are going to get in your way of this locking step we're doing right now. So at least do those 2. And then you just line it up, tab it in, and there you go. And it's secure. Now, see, I just untabbed it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. There we go. Okay. There's the hips, at least to start. So. Okay. Got a lot going on here. Got a lot of things that I found out the hard way that I'm going to show you. So we're going to flip that out, flip that in. You have tabs here on both sides for both legs. Flip them out. Just using your nail or a spudger should do the trick. You're also going to want to flip up those shin pieces that we had out for robot mode. And then up here, you've got 2 on each side, on each leg again. So what I learned is how these work. You can try and just pull them straight out, but you're really going to fight. And if you're using a nail, let me tell you, my nail was sore for about 2 days after. Like it was just better this morning. Spudger kind of helps too. But is what you do is that you see the gap. If you push in on it and then lift up, it comes out without any kind of a fight whatsoever. Same on this side. Now when you do that, you saw that thigh shifted because now it's not locked in. So you want the foot folded in, so go ahead and get it back to how it was in fire truck mode. So on this blue double hinge, you want that facing up, and this little nub is going to go into the recess there. So I'm going to fold it back. So it's sitting like that. On the blue hinge, I'm going to fold it up. And then I'm going to fold it up again. Now, I'm going to grab this entire assembly because I had these unlocked, and I'm going to rotate it. And if you get that little bit and then you have to do the rest, that's fine. I keep doing that. And you lock that in place. So that's out of your way and you don't have to worry about it. And we'll come back to that. Now, this is one of those things I learned the hard way. So this is on a joint. It's going to slide down. And you have a large tab right here, right where my nail is. And the camera is not... Okay. Right here. And that's going to go into this little L-shaped area. So you're going to bring it down. And let me tell you, this is going to be a stiff connection. That's good, but it's going to be stiff. And you need it locked in. Because if it's not locked in, then you're not going to be able to lock those back in. Let's see. Let's see. I might have gotten it. I'm going to push in on that. Okay. Yep, I got it. What I was waiting for was a very loud click when it went into place, because the first time I did it, I thought I broke something. Nope, it was just that stiff. But anyway, now you got those locked back in. With this folded, close it back up. Oh, we'll fold the foot in so it's out of the way. Just get it all the way in, nice and flat. Then close that up. And flip that out. And that is one leg, the thigh, done. We'll come back to the shin and the foot. Let's do this other side. Flip that up. Same thing, we'll flip out those pieces. All right. This little block, tab, slot. Did forget about that. There you go. Just an extra locking point. Let me tell you, that thing is secure enough, you probably won't need it. Ah, there's that loud click. Okay, locked that in. And for locking them back in, I'm pushing on this post to get it into there. So what it is there's a little locking piece. You see this little piece right here at the tip of my spudger that comes down? Well, there's a piece on here that correlates, that locks it in. So I'm pushing in on the post to get it past all that. And that's what actually locks it. That's why if you push in on that tab and then pull, it comes out without any fight. Otherwise, you're fighting that little tab, that little nub, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to get this lined up and tabbed in. There it is. Fold the foot in. Fold that over. And like I said, these pieces you're going to keep playing with. Okay, I'm going to turn that. There we go. So there you go. That's his thighs. Now we'll go ahead and do these. So you're going to rotate up on this hinge. They have, I guess I need that light again. You have these two tabs right there. They're going to go into slots right in here, which, yeah, I can't get my camera to pick it up, but just bring them up, tab them in. That's how they're going to be when they tab in. And then these will just rotate around. Very weird design on the hip skirts, because you can see how high those are, and then these are fake. They go with a thigh. It's very odd, but you know, it works. It at least doesn't get in the way of anything. A little bit. I'll show you a little bit. So, backpedal on that statement a little bit. So, okay. Extend these out. Now, you have this block. It's going to come down. And then you're going to what you want to do is you want to pull out the innards of the foot, just the way it's set up. You're going to separate these pieces, bring down this triangular piece that's sitting at the front, that's going to be part of his toes, and go ahead and rotate this 360. Okay. Now, you have these two pieces that are off. You're going to just bring them up, and they're going to go into this channel. They're going to lock the foot. Whoops. Ho-ho. Like I said, I'm not a professional. We're going to rotate the foot around first. Then we're going to bring those up, because they're going to lock the foot rotation. And I know what you're thinking. Well, what if I want foot rotation? You're not going to have it anyway, believe me. I will show you. But you're not going to have it. You'll bring that block around and just lock it in right there. That block and those two pieces lock the rotation. If you don't use them, you might think, well, I just won't use them and then I'll have foot rotate. No, because if you don't use them, this foot is going to want to sink in to this whole center block, and you're going to lose all your stability. So yeah, unless somebody else can think of some way around that, I've not been able to have him stand with one leg in my hand supporting the other leg with that not locked in. Okay, you got this panel that just needs to fold out on both sides, and then there is a very small tab that needs to come up and lock in place. See if I can show you a little bit better on this one. Panel out, right? And then, yeah, I can kind of show you right here. See that little square? It's going to come up and it's going to slot in so that that piece is locked at 90 degrees. And then you're going to come back here, bring everything back so that you're sitting like that. These two pieces that we just locked, they're going to come together, and then the toe comes out, and there you go. That is 1 foot ready to go. You have an ankle up and down, and a little bit of a toe tilt as well for articulation. No rotate. We're going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to continue trying to show what I'm doing as best as I can. Rotate that around. Bring up that little block. Flip out the entire assembly. Once it's out, rotate it 180. Lock these pieces. And I'm going to tell you too, these small pieces that I'm tabbing into the side here, they are just friction and like thoops, right? They're a little stiff coming out, but oh my, they are super stiff if you want to undo it and transform them back to robot or vehicle mode. Not stiff enough that I'm worried about breaking anything, but stiff enough that I usually need a spudger, or I need to be very careful with my hands, that kind of thing. They are just very, very tight. I appreciate it because they're locking the feet in position. So don't get me wrong, I'd rather them be tight than be super loose and floppy and have a chance of him falling when when I just have him standing there. But they are tight. So there you go. Kind of like an ATST right now, or a chicken. Okay. So we know he's not going to stand by himself. So I'm not going to bother really trying. I'm going to flip out that. So we have these two pieces here. There's one on each foot. They are a transformation connector. And then you also have, open up his knee a little, and then you have this, which is a connector. You see there's a channel here, an L-shaped channel on both sides. That's how Streetwise and eventually Grooves are going to snap. They're going to slide in, lock in, and then that they're going to pinch together and tab in on that. So, on that note, here is Streetwise. He is in his shin mode, his leg mode, just as the instruction manual says. So, you have these two pieces up here that are going to lock into the knee. Now, I'm going to have to take them apart just a little bit to show you. Let's see. Okay, cool. I have my spudger here. So in here between his legs, you can barely see it on the camera. There's one port, and there's the other port right there. So you'll split his legs apart just a little. You shouldn't need a whole lot, but that's going to tab in here on this piece that we flipped out. Now, how I've done it so far, I'll go ahead and do the upper piece first. It's just friction, but it is very tight, which, again, good thing in this case. And yeah, you definitely want to make sure that stuff stays straight. There it is. So, get it in there. And then you just close this up. Right? And that's it for the upper. That is good and secure. Now I'm going to flip them around. And now I need to get this piece in. So I'm going to bring these pieces out. And I'm going to split the car mode apart just enough. And I wish I could show you, but just because of where it's at, I can't. I'm going off of feel. Right, I've got it in there. And I'm basically just feeling around for it. You will know. There it is. Got it. And then we'll close this back up, make sure things are back how, seated how they are supposed to be, so that it looks good. I have a tendency to undo his doors. And I'll keep that out, I'll fold that up, and there we go. There's streetwise attached. So you've got your thigh rotation. I've not found any kind of knee or shin rotation, and like I said, there's no ankle rotate. Now you do have ankle tilt that way, and then again you have up and down. So he does have decent articulation. Honestly, it's about the same as their Bruticus, because he didn't have an ankle foot rotate either. And then you get a little bit more than 90 on a single ratchet, but it's a good ratchet. I mean, yeah. Granted, streetwise isn't as heavy as Brawl is, but still. You know, of course, I'll have to see when I get grooves how that goes. Let's see. I'm going to fold up his leg a little bit because I don't want to take a chance of damaging anything. But straight 90 out, and again, nice strong ratchet. That's as far back as he'll get, though. And if you move that out of the way, it doesn't help because of where it's at. This hip skirt is not in the way, per se. It's really the bar that hip skirt is on that is in the way. And I guess if you wanted to, you could untab it and then rotate it up, and then you can get much further back. But again, you are breaking the sculpt a little bit. It may not matter to you because it's on the back. So if you can get some really cool poses from the front or side, you may not even notice that. You may not care, especially if you're doing any kind of actual editing in photography, and you just edit that out, you know. But I'll show you. You do what you want with it. Then let's see. He has a waist rotate. Those back hip skirts are very, very, very close to these side pieces. So just, they don't collide, but if you flex things the wrong way, then they can collide. He does have a very good ab crunch. He can really lean back. I can have him sitting against a wall like he's wounded while waiting on his shin and his other arm. All right, so there's that. Attaching first aid is just like with Bruticus, with Vortex and Blast Off, right? You open up the tab. There we go. Do I have that upside down? I darn sure do. Lock it down. You can tell I haven't connected the arms yet. Now that we got the arm in, so we already know the arm articulation. You know, you got fully articulated hands. They rotate within a certain amount, a pretty reasonable degree of rotation. You know, it's pretty close to realistic. Then you got your elbow, which is double jointed. You know, gets you right up to there. Pretty good. Got your rotate. So on him, that's as high up as the shoulder will go, which is excellent, especially for a combiner. My DX9 Menasor can't do that. Does a full rotation on a very nice ratchet. First aid weighs next to nothing, so of course it's strong enough for him. And you get a butterfly joint. It's just friction, but it sounds like either I'm contacting something, or it's like there's not a ratchet per se, but like little ridges that it's rolling on, because it's got some friction. But hey, it comes out to there, which again, for a combiner, yeah, I'm not going to complain about that. That's pretty good. Okay, let me try and get him. Oops, I untabbed his set. That is one thing, is that his chest will rotate, will articulate. You've got an ad crunch and a chest crunch. So if you want to untab that, you could really... It's like me playing video games on the couch. All right, now the face. I told you we would do this, and we are going to do this. So, pops right up, right? You've got mushroom pegs on both sides. It just slides into a little track in here. There we go. Simple. This is the bonus head. This is the stock head. So here's the differences. You can see the gray part of the face comes up higher on the bonus head. Eyes are a slightly different shape. Slightly bigger is what they are. The chin is a little bit smaller on this one than the Toon head. Or I'm assuming that's a Toon head anyway. I haven't actually looked at that part myself. And you can see the helmet itself. There we go. The bonus head is a little blockier than the head that everybody's going to get. And then these pieces are a little different. Other than that, details are about the same. So their mouths are both pretty straight, but the factory, I'll say the normal head, has a little bit more definition, almost like he's pouting, while this one is he's just hanging out. He's straight. He's just, wondering why he's here, what's going on. And then I showed you on him how to swap the face. On this guy, the one that everybody's going to get, let me take a look at it, make sure, yeah. Pretty much just come right off. I haven't done this yet, so I got to wiggle it. That's going to be a tight connection. There we go. And you can see the eyes stay with it. You just put the replacement face on and rawr, there we go. And then just because I can, the face comes off a little bit easier on the bonus head. And there is the bonus head with the roaring face. They call it a roaring face. So, and again, you can see the original head, the normal head. The mouth is definitely deeper than on the replacement. So, I am going to end up putting the replacement, the original head back on for now at least. But before I do that, the only other thing I can think to show you is a size comparison. I'll get Optimus standing up right here. I'll have to support Defensor in the back, and as you can see, he barely comes up to his crotch. And I think that's a pretty good look. I will do a comparison between him and Bruticus when I at least have grooves, so I don't have to go supporting his head like his leg like this. But grooves, I believe, Shozy says like September or October, and maybe November. But either way, it's before the end of the year, so I'll have him, and I can actually stand him and pose him. But either way, I'm just going to leave him like that for the end of the video. There is Hotspot from MMC, another awesome addition to the Combiner family. Super excited, super glad I picked him up. And if you're into this Combiner Defensor, I would recommend him. Now, I don't have X-Transbots, but from what I have seen about their transformation for like their streetwise and all, personally, I'm glad I got him instead of X-Transbots. Just like I'm glad I got DX9 for Menasor instead of X-Transbots. But, anywho, thanks for watching. Until next time.